live streaming a framework today. It's pretty exciting. My hair is pretty wild. I don't know what to make of it. It's a little weird. Solvin, how are you doing? I'm staring at myself streaming um, and watching myself. Yeah, it's a little wild. I don't know what to do about it. I kind of feel like a hobo a little bit. I don't know. Probably because my dad called me a hobo when I was a kid whenever I looked weird. Yeah, I'll just go with it. Thank you. um, so yeah, what's up? How are you doing? It's just me and you here for now. Uh, how did you hear about it, by the way? Did you hear about it through the the app thing, or did you hear about it from Discord? Forget the app thing that reminds you. It's called like Remind Me or something. I forget. Okay, so let's see. Ooh, you subscribed. Woohoo! Oh, you're on. Yeah, I did take I did take a couple of minutes. Yeah, I was like posting a few other places before I started, like Twitter and LinkedIn. I like to post like everywhere before I start because otherwise, like only a few people will show up. Um, so I try to just let everyone know. Uh, yeah. So, what are you working on today? Anything cool? Um, I am working on uh, I am working on re-architecting the framework once again. I think I've re-architected it like, or at least brainstormed re-architecting it like 4 times now. You started working on the institutional contracts that you have for your campus subscription service on nfb.ca. Okay, let's go to nfb.ca and see if we can hack this website. I'm gonna go into the console and then like a hacker. I'm gonna delete the page. I hacked your page. It's gone now. Haha. Okay. So this is what is this? Is this a film thing? Canada National Film Board of Canada. Oh, that's cool. How'd you get involved with this? You're making it so that sales agents can initialize the contracts before the start date. They have to do it all the day it starts. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this is where you work. I didn't know that. That's cool. I actually did not know that you worked here. I don't think did you tell us at some point? I feel like you didn't. You have about 4,000 point of view documentaries. That's awesome. That's like so many. Okay. Yeah, I guess we must not have checked it out then. Um, this is pretty cool. You did one on streamers. That's cool. It's been around since 1937, so almost a century. Talking at night? What is this? Talking at night. Oh, crisis resolution. They take calls from individuals. I thought it was just a documentary about people talking at night. I don't know why that would have been. Interesting. Well, this is a hard job. Um, you have films like How to Make an Igloo. That's cool. So, what were you saying? You're making it so that they can initialize the contracts before the start date. So, what are the contracts for? Are they, yeah, what are the contracts for? Oh, this was a cool movie. Or a cool, I've seen this. I've seen this animation. I've totally seen that. Is this by your company? It's to provide campus access for schools and libraries and whatnot. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. This looks like a really cool place to work. Are in the partners, films, and then you go to partners. Bottom. From our partners. I don't see it. Oh, there we go. And, okay. Oh, so you get to rent things online? 48 hours? So if I go here, oh nice. That's cool. We can rent right here. Wow. It's pretty advanced. Yeah, that's cool. Interactive. Did you help design this website? This is a pretty nice website. That's cool. Did you help with the rental thing? Okay, that's cool. So like the search and stuff. Hey, Slow Cool, how's it going? That's really cool. I should bookmark this or something. I don't really use bookmarks, but I'll just drag it here for now. Rentals, payment transactions. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty hard work. That's I'd imagine you have to do like a lot of security and a lot of like testing and a lot of making sure nothing's like leaking. Um, okay, so let's see. Yeah, data and exports and imports. Yeah, that must be crazy. Like trying to normalize all the data and stuff. Do you have like a team of back-end engineers? Okay. You are three people working on this. That's really cool. That sounds like a really like tight-knit, you know, job working on kind of like a pretty fun project. Sounds like a pretty cool job. Like it's not a startup, so like it's a pretty well-established company. Maybe there are budget cuts sometimes or whatever, but seems like a pretty stable job. And then, you're making on things that make them money, so that's cool. And then it's film, which is, and you're bringing a voice to people that might not otherwise have a voice. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm sure you guys have like some cool fans and stuff. We wish you could do it from scratch so you could flex your coding skills now that we went through all the pain of building a film site. Oh, you were involved with building the film site from scratch? Hey, Ice Cream Codes, welcome to the chat. How's it going? Wow, that's impressive. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna start thinking through what I'm gonna work on today. So where we left off last time um, is so unfortunately I'm not going to be doing any demos today. I really want to get back to doing demos, but I just need to re-architect this a little bit so that it's easier for people to use. So you'll notice in this like old remakes app thing, we have all of this stuff that like the user really doesn't need to know about. So I wanted to cut down a little bit on that. And then we have this idea of apps, right? With like different namespaces in the database for different apps. That was my thought on it. I don't know even how much I went into detail on that on stream, but I decided to cut all of this out. I just want one app. Just like let someone build a single app and deploy it. who cares about having multiple apps when you're first getting started, right? Um, okay, so instead of having multiple apps, I just want to simplify it to one app. And then if you look in one of these apps, you have this like template and then you have partials, right? And so if you want to edit the HTML or whatever, you can do that. But what if you want to edit the CSS or the JavaScript or stuff like that? Then you have to go out of the apps directory and you have to go into this public directory. So then it becomes confusing to people like, oh, do I need to worry about this lib directory? Do I need to worry about the temp data directory? And so instead of just having documentation on all of that, I decided to re-architect it so that it now looks like this. And so now you have the project files directory, and that's where everything lives. So basically, you don't need to go outside of the project files directory unless you want to add a package to package.json, or you want to like add some very custom code to, server.js or to the remake core code. But now all of the remake core code will live in _remake. All of like the database will live in remake data. And then, so the notion of separate apps, is there still there somewhere, or is this per project? So I'm getting rid of the idea of separate apps for now. I want to add that back in later, but I don't think it's a first priority for, like, right now I want to release the framework publicly with a really nice documentation site and a 5-minute quick start. And the idea of apps doesn't really help with that, Like it'll just be one more thing to explain. So I'm just scaling it back to just be one app for now. And so if you want multiple apps, all you really have to do is add a different namespace to the top of the page, right? You can just add a different key to the top of the page, and then that you've got an app pretty much, right? You've namespaced all your data. Anyways, just doing that. So you don't really need apps. The only reason you would need apps is if you had like one table with like 10,000 rows and you had another table with 10,000 rows. Then you wouldn't want to like combine those and loop over all of that every time. You're wondering how you'd go about gitting your project and having it easily installable in the previous app structure you had. Yeah. Yeah, and I've been thinking a lot about like making it easier for people, and what I would really, really like is like to have a website where you can go and log in and there's like a single button there and it says like create a new app, like create a new remake app. And then if you click this, it'll say like, great, like here's your app's ID, and then it'll give you like some random, app ID, and then it'll say to get started, run this command, and then it'll say like a console command, so it'll be like remake add ID or something like that, and then it'll be this ID. So it'll be like run this command in your terminal, and then you would run this command. And then you would have a backend, right? So you wouldn't even have, so on the front end, you wouldn't actually have any of this other stuff. You wouldn't have package.json, you wouldn't have the variables.env, you wouldn't have server.js. All you would have is the project files. So the project files would be at the top level, and it would be like my remake app or whatever you want to name it. You can name it to-dos or whatever. And then you'd have the data inside of it, and you would run this command, right? And then you would run like another command like remake dev. Maybe run, I don't know, just remake dev, I guess. So then we'd have like a 1 out here, and then 2 right here. So run these commands. And then so you would run these two commands, and then you'd have a live website where you could go to like dev dot and then like your app ID. Maybe we don't have this app ID have these extra characters in it. So it'd be like dev dot that dot remaketheweb.com. And then if you went here, you'd have your dev site. And then when you wanted to, then I could say like, when you're ready, deploy your site. And then it'd be like 3 remake deploy, and then you would get a website that looks like this. So it would just be like your appid.remaketheweb.com. And then if you wanted to like if you want to add a custom domain, like read these docs, and then it would say like custom domain docs. And then there'd just be like a few more commands in there, like not really anything hard, but you would have to like obviously point your custom domain. So this would be a page that you would host on the Remake the Web, yes. Or that's just an example. If it's an example, are you planning to monetize on your own domain? Yeah, so the long-term plan, this is like 5 years. I don't know. Maybe it's not 5 years out. Maybe it's like next month, but I think it's probably pretty far out, to be honest. The long-term plan is to like have a hosted solution, and then like WordPress, right? You can host it yourself. But if you want to like boot up a startup, right? You can write a couple remake templates, upload them to Remake the Web, and boom, you've got, you know, subscriptions handled automatically for you, user accounts, database, all handled automatically for you. All you had to do is write a couple HTML templates and some CSS, and you have a brand new startup that you can tell people about and start getting people to sign up for. So then you would enter the command for the custom domain, and then all of a sudden you're going to have, you know, like productivityapp.com, and this is like your remake app, which is just a mask for this domain, right? It's just a CNAME. This has a CNAME, you know, pointing to this. And then this is hosted on Remake. And then the idea is like you can sign up for a paid plan as a developer, right? So you're like paying $5 a month in order to publish sites. Yeah, it would be super cool. I mean, I would be willing to like even like pay people, right, who like who contribute. But I think mostly what I'm focused on, at least for the foreseeable future, is like just the open source part. So like even just this, like, yeah, that would be awesome. That would be super cool. I would totally be into that. Because I'm really excited about this. I think, yeah, this is like a long-term project that I'm very excited about. Because just the idea, honestly, just once again to reiterate my goal with Remake, is that you can write the HTML and CSS for a website, and then you can spend about 10 minutes adding data attributes to that, and then you've got a web app, right? I mean, probably usually it's going to take a little bit longer. Maybe it's going to take a couple hours because you're going to have to make the items look editable or whatever. But maybe Remake can help with that too. But ideally, the whole promise of this is you can build a website, and then all of a sudden you have a web app, right? There's just a few data attributes you have to add in order to get it working as a web app. And it's great for page builders because page builders don't have any complex structure, you know, or anything, right? You're just like, you have this page, that page, that page, and that page, and they all have different data, right? Different namespace data. Remake's perfect for that. And it all has different items, different images or whatever. Yeah, and totally, definitely want to support plugins and add-ons, but I think out of the box, having it do as much as possible would be good too. You know, like if you could edit images and crop images out of the box, I would love that. And if you could add like dates and color pickers, you know, I already have plans for that. I already have like all of this basically implemented on requestcreative.com. And I've just been rebuilding what's already on Request Creative into Remake, because what I want to do is rebuild this using this structure, right, where I have the whole like dev domain or the prod domain and then the custom domain, right? Like I want to do this so that if you go to Request Creative, remake.com, you're just going to a remake app. And then when I want to make a new service or I want to make a new web app, all I have to do is click a button, right? I just have to go here, click this button, I get my ID, right? Maybe I should add a backdrop to this. And then I have an app, right? Okay. And what you added to the project, even in the back end, is that like a plugin style, even if it's not open to third party yet? And what you added to the project, even in the back end, oh, okay, okay. So you're saying like, what if you want to modify the back end? Is there a plugin to be able to do that? Even if it's not open to third party yet. Like if you want to add more pieces, do you just drop them into a folder and it works? Yeah, so yeah, ideally, um, I mean, so to be honest, I think there's a long way to go here because like even with this structure, Remake hasn't reached my ideal kind of potential. You know, like I'm still thinking about using HPS templates, which I don't know, maybe that's long term, that's great, right? But it'd be kind of cool to have its own syntax that makes it very easy to reason about. I don't know, sometimes I go back to thinking about just even the basic syntax. But I think for now it's fine to have handlebars templates, have it be server rendered. I definitely want to keep the server rendered thing. Um, but as far as adding more pieces, so if you go in here and we're working with the web framework, the idea is that you can't modify the underlying code. So if you want to modify like the remake framework code, you're better off hosting it yourself. Because I think at least in the near term, I think having backend plugins sounds great, but it's probably not in the near term. Because I like the primary goal again is just to get it so that you can write an HTML template and then turn it into a web app that people can pay for, subscribe to, log into, and just to make that process super easy. And I think for most web designers, they're not really going to care about modifying the backend as long as it's, flexible enough. But let's say you want to help with some stuff and you want to add, let's say, an image cropper. Where would you be adding that in the framework code? Okay, okay, yeah, good question. So if it's like a front end thing like the image cropper, I've done a little brainstorming on how that might work in Notion, but I'm actually just not sure yet. I think so. I think things like the image cropper and like making things sortable, I think that's like an external plugin that like the native framework can accept into itself, but it's not like built in because I think adding all of those things in might, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on the image cropper. It might be part of the framework because I feel like it's core to so many web applications, and it probably would only add, a few kilobytes of overhead on the front end. But then as far as like something like the sortable thing goes, I don't think it's worth including the sortable library. So I think you'd at least have to pass in the sortable library. And I'm really not sure how that would work yet. So I definitely need some more brainstorming around that. But like if you're curious, my initial brainstorming on uh, where did I put it? Sharing data. Advanced syntax, I think this is it. Advanced syntax for edit popovers. Yeah, I don't think this is even it. Yeah, I mean basically I've been doing brainstorming about this, but I don't really know. 'Cause I've never built a framework before, so like I don't know how plugins should work, you know? But I think ideally it's just like import this plugin, right? And it's just like you don't have to think about it, right? It's just like, okay, so like let's say we go into our assets and we go into our main.js, and this is where we're including remake, right? Then ideally it's just like, you know, import image cropper, or we'll say like remake image cropper from remake image cropper, and then you just do like this, right? Just like remake image cropper.init after remake init. So I think that would be pretty good, and then it would just like tie its code in with remake. But yeah, I don't really know anything. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you have any thoughts about that, I'm, if you can tell, I'm like a bit in over my head here, um, just in terms of like how much I've taken on. Uh, yeah, yeah. That would definitely be awesome, right? If you could go to like, you know, like say you develop your site and you're at like dev.thisapp.com, and this is the prod site, you know, maybe you go to, you know, remaketheweb.com and you log in, right? So you're logged in and you get, and so when you log in, you go to, you know, app slash the ID, oops, shoot, remaketheweb.com. And you go to like app.this, right? Um, then you could go to like the settings page, and then you could just like toggle on like image editor or whatever. And I think eventually, and this is this is again a long way off. I don't know how much talking about this actually helps because I'm pretty far off from this, but I think having this all be a desktop app would be really nice. Because then you can have a desktop app where on the left side, so then we're getting away from the web app, right? So then we're just, you don't need to run any of these commands or anything. Then you have the desktop app, then you have like a sidebar, um, and then you have like, what would it be called? Like layouts. So you'd have like layouts, and then you'd have like some files there, right, under layouts. Then you have like pages, and then you'd have partials, and then you'd have like assets, right? And then you'd have like files underneath each of these, and then over here you'd have like a code editor, right? A very basic code editor. And then up here you would have like a button that says like preview. I don't know how helpful this is, but to think through ahead of time because I think it's, I don't know, it might be pretty far off. I would love to get this done, you know, like within a week or something, but I've never built a desktop app before, so who knows. But if you have like preview and publish, and then you don't even have to worry about anything, right? Then, yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard, but I don't know. I don't. I've heard some people run into problems with Electron too. But yeah, I mean, it should be pretty easy. I think. So like this could say like to-dos app, and then it has like a drop down, so you can get your other apps in there too. That would be really, really cool. And just so you know, you're not just like contributing to like an paid for project. Is this will always be open source. There will always be an open source version of this, and Remake as it is uh, MIT licensed. Um, oops, license. Yeah, it's MIT licensed, and yeah, there's like there would always. I'm just like trying to give you like a guarantee, more than my word. But yeah, Remake is MIT licensed. It'll always be MIT licensed, and the full stack framework, I want there to always be an open source version of that. So there would never be. Um, that would be cool. Yeah, no, no, no. I think so. The only thing I worry about with that is security, because I think no, I think yeah, having that be open source too, I think would be great. Yeah, I think and ideally, uh, people don't even go to remaketheweb.com except to download the desktop app, right? That would be pretty cool. Because then you go to Remake the Web, you download the desktop app, and then you can do everything here, right? You can edit your layouts and pages. You can switch between different apps, um, and then you can, uh, publish or preview your site. And then I guess you'd probably also have like settings here, so you could like add a custom domain or something. But yeah, that would be really, really cool. I would love to get help on that. That would be pretty sweet, to be honest, Selvin. Um, yeah. Someone suggested recently that integrating with GitHub might be a good idea. And so I think having this be a local Git repository behind the scenes might be kind of neat, right? Because you wouldn't even have to send it to GitHub. It's funny because whenever I think about Git, I think about GitHub. I'm like, oh, you have a Git repository. You have to sync it with GitHub. But but it would make it easy to publish, right? If it's a Git repository on your local, then you're gonna send the incremental changes to the yeah, you can auto deploy. Yeah, exactly. And then, and I mean, I'm saying exactly, but like, I don't know anything about this stuff. Um, but yeah, no, exactly, exactly. Um, I mean, I've done like a post deploy hook and stuff, but I'm just talking in terms of like building a web application framework, web service on top of Git hooks. Like, that's something I don't know about. Um, uh, but yeah, I think it would be a good foundation for that. Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, I don't know what. Uh, yeah, so then you would have like this, and then you'd have like to-dos, and I don't even know. I guess you wouldn't even need the extension. I guess you could have the extension. I don't. I'm not sure like how technical I want to make this. Like my ultimate goal is like I've said before, is like a 10-year-old could come along who knows HTML and they could build a web app and like deploy it. Like that would be my ideal. Um, so like the more it looks like HTML, the more it looks like you don't have to connect things together, the better. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm kind of restructuring the front end right now. Uh, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. Like the guided walkthrough. Um, I think that would be good. So yeah, that's why I'm re-architecting this right now so that we have different folders. Because I'm planning eventually. I mean, I don't know how far down the line it is. Probably at least a year or something. But having this desktop app, and I think having it, separated like this would make a lot of sense. And then you have like the code editor over here. Yeah, guided walkthrough, exactly. Um, but I think for now, so like having this isn't bad, right? But even before you get to this stage where you have the web service, I think there's an earlier stage where you're doing everything manually, right? And so I haven't even gotten to that stage yet, right? So I need to re-architect this to get to that stage where we have these separated out here, where you can just deploy your own version of a remake web app. Um, I actually have a whole plan here, so you can see. So restructure into project files, so we have partials, layouts, and pages. Make a 5-minute quick start. Finish the full documentation. Create a documentation site with a newsletter. Set a product hunt launch date. Deploy a live example and add the example to the docs. Record a quick start video and add that to the docs. Then add more editable areas, especially the image crop. And the reason I want that image crop is I would use that a lot in my own apps. Then add a sortable plugin. Then add more editable areas. Then make the editable areas customizable so that other people can add their own editable areas with like plugins. And then plan a web service for quick deploys. And then add custom domains to the web service. And then I want to do the request creative rebuild, which is my personal reason for doing all of this work. I mean, I honestly I want to give back to the community, and I want to make it really, 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 really simple to build web applications. But my own personal reason for wanting to do this is I want to rebuild a website, a web app that I've already built on top of this platform, so that I can, quickly spin up new features and stuff like that. Oh, and you get to see all my other notes about my anxiety and stuff, like fear is not reality and allow the boundary between you and the world to dissolve. That's great, David. Nice, nice sharing that with the world. But yeah, good stuff, good advice. Um, yeah, wandering is also like, if you're looking for mental health tips, which I know that's probably why you aren't watching the stream, but wandering around outside is like the best mental health tip I could ever give to anyone. It's like so good. It just like frees up so many things. But yeah, allow the boundary between you and the world to dissolve. That's a pretty out there one, I think, if you're like not into meditation or spirituality or something. But it's a pretty good tip, I think. Okay, so yeah, so we've got all this. Before I get into like thinking about the web service, which honestly I'm kind of thinking about hiring someone to do this for me, because I know some pretty experienced programmers who could like do this in a weekend. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really have like the spare cash to just throw around. But I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I think it would be a pretty cool thing to just like, I mean, I just want it for myself, really. Like just the idea of just like having the ability to go to the, like not even this desktop app thing, but just having this, right? Where I can click this button, uh, and, um, and then just like have a live web app like automatically deployed, right? And that I can maybe hook a custom domain into with like a CNAME. That just like blows my mind, right? I just like, I really want that. And so that's part of the reason I'm thinking about hiring someone for that. So yeah, I mean, if someone does help with that, I can definitely throw them a little bit of money. Yeah. Because I'm just very excited about this. You know, like I'm not, I don't know. I mean, like, so totally, if this like took off tomorrow, I could see like charging money for it, you know, like having a free version, but then also having a paid version. Um, but I think for the near term, I'm not really that concerned with making money off of this. I just want to make it really fun to build web apps. So I guess it would just be like, you know, if I start getting like 1,000 people using my web server to deploy web apps, then at that point I'd have to really, really think about charging, you know, just to cover the costs. But eventually I do want to make this into a paid service where I'm making money. And just to go over that, just so you have an idea of what I'm kind of brainstorming for a long-term plan, it's by no means like definitely where this is going to head. but it's just like where it could head, just so you have an idea. Uh, is like so you sign up for like this as a developer, right? And so maybe you pay. Maybe there's like a free plan, right? So there's like a free plan. You can like just publish as many apps as you want, and you get like some, um, you know, some percentage of the um, revenue. And maybe it's a smaller amount, right? I think it would be a smaller amount if you're not paying. But then if you're paying, so you're paying like $5 a month, uh, then I think you can publish apps and you get like a much higher percentage of the revenue. So the idea is that people can go to, I don't know if it's Remake the Web or whatever, but they go to like Remake the Web, we'll say. Yeah, so they would go to remaketheweb.com, and users, so the primary people who are going, maybe it's not Remake the Web, maybe, so I have this domain called PagePut, and I think it's a pretty awesome domain name. So they'd go to like pageput.com, right? And it would say like, hey, welcome, like choose from these thousands of apps for $5 a month. And so these are like the developer plans. And then you have the customer plans, or like, I don't know, normal people plans. I don't know what you say, what you call that, but customer plans. So these are the customers who are looking at the developers. So these guys make the apps. Um, yeah, exactly. So they're making like HTML templates and uploading them to Remake the Web or maybe PagePut. I kind of like PagePut as a domain name. And then customer plans, they're like using the apps. And then so you can have a free plan, and then it's like one app for free. And then if you pay $5 a month, maybe you have access to like 5 apps, or maybe it's like 3 apps for the free plan, or I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe yeah, one app to try, right? And then 5 apps, and then the percentage of the revenue for the developers is coming from here, right? So if they're using one of your apps, then money's going to you. And then maybe it's like $20 a month. Then you have I don't know, it's like 20 apps or something. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, and maybe it's also dependent on the number of users. Like maybe there's like a business plan where you're paying like $120 a month, and you have like 20 apps, but you also have like 5 user accounts, and they're sharing data or something. And maybe by that time, we have like actual real-time data syncing happening, because right now we don't. So having 5 user accounts using the same apps wouldn't really make sense at this point, because they could overwrite each other's data. I mean, ideally, like even in the current setup, that wouldn't happen too often, because we're saving 2 IDs and we're not overwriting as much data as we can, but it still probably would happen before we implement the like real-time data conflict resolution or whatever. So I don't even know what that looks like or whatever. But yeah, so this is the idea. Um, yeah, but that would be for the developers, right? For the templates. Okay, so yeah, so then let me go into the developer plans a little bit more. So I think having like a $20 a month plan, or maybe it's yeah, I think it's about $20 a month, somewhere around there, right? But you can publish, you get an even higher revenue percentage, and then you also can have like your own branded. I don't know if this is at $20 a month, um, but yeah, maybe it's like 50, right? And then you have your own like branded apps. So Remake doesn't even factor into this, right? So like you have yeah, maybe, sorry, maybe here you have like custom domains or somewhere around here. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, I don't know. Um, yeah, maybe it's something like this. And then here it's like publish 20 apps, or I don't know if it's a difference in the number of apps. I have no idea. I have no idea about that. Because I think, so publishing unlimited number of apps is actually really good for the ecosystem. I guess if they're low quality apps, that's not great though. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe there's a limit, right? So maybe you can publish, I don't know, I would just hate to put a limit on it. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I feel like that's up to me, right? Like the more the better. It's like YouTube, right? Like YouTube allows unlimited uploads, but they just feature the uploads that are like the most popular or the best. So just having more apps is better, right? And like I feel like this is a super scalable architecture. Like it's literally like a JSON backed data store. It's perfect for like scaling with like serverless, right? So I feel like my costs aren't going to be that big. And like, if I don't know anything about serverless, but if it did scale with serverless, I think, um, yeah, it could work. So like custom branded apps, like no mention of remake, right? So now at this point, you can like have your own apps, right? So like you can have like blah 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 2.com, blah 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 1.com, like as many apps as you want, and you have like subscriptions built in, you have all this stuff built in, um, and you're getting, let's say like, I don't know, maybe like 90% of the revenue, right? Because we like Remake still has to cover the upkeep, the hosting, the credit card fees, stuff like that, right? So I don't know, maybe it's even 95. I don't know exactly, but let's say like here, just as a ballpark, maybe it's like 60%. I don't know. Maybe it's 70%, right? It's weird to have I don't know. Maybe it's not, right? And then maybe here it's like 80%, right? And then here it's 90%. And then yeah, even tens, right? 10, 10, 10. So then you have your own apps, you have your own subscriptions, most of the money is going to you. You can have as many apps as you want, right? Um, and and you're paying $50 a month, but they're all on your own domains, and no one even knows about page put or remake or whatever it is, right? They never get redirected to it. You have your own user accounts. Oh, and then yeah, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. So on the $5 a month, maybe you don't have custom domain here because I want you to have shared login. So this is going to be a shared login with like every other app on the platform. So when people go to log in to PagePut, right, they can choose all these apps. Um, but if you're taking the apps off of the platform, off of the PagePut platform, that's why you're paying a lot more because you're setting up your own kind of siloed area. I actually wouldn't know how to handle that if someone like created the most popular app on PagePut and then they decided to switch it to their own silo. I don't know what would happen to all of the customers. Would they lose the app? I don't know. There'd have to be some agreement to like, I don't know. I have no idea how that would work. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. But this is just kind of a basic idea. Um, so yeah, that's the basic idea, and yeah, I don't know what you guys think about it, but it's kind of fun. It's fun to think about, fun to brainstorm about. But I think the first thing I need to do is get Remake out there, share it with the world, and yeah, yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun to think about it, um, and see if people like it and will use it, and if it can be used to build even more types of apps in a consistent way. I mean, one thing we haven't really had to deal with on this stream is like a real app, right? So I think getting to the point where we're deploying an app, maintaining it over time, doing stuff like database migrations, I think we're going to get a lot more experience about, what developers really need from this, and I think we can go from there. All of this stuff is really kind of exciting to think about. Um, but we're not there yet. I think if I had this is like my near term like North Star goal, because I feel like if I can get to this point where people can see their app live on the internet after just typing up a few lines of HTML, that's going to be like a big thing. That's going to be like a big turning point, I think, where people are going to see the power of this. Um, but yeah, I think we still need to have some tests around, how much this appeals to people, as just a programming paradigm, because I think there's been some things, but okay, cool, no problem. Yeah, there's been like some feedback that people have been really positive about it, but then, I think it hasn't been as well tested as it could be. Uh, let's say like I'll just say welcome, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to close this for now, and I'm going to get back to the hard work of re-architecting the project. So if we open up Terminal, and we go into GitHub, and then we go into Remake Framework, and we run the dev build. Oh man. Oh yeah, because I just re-architected this morning. I just moved a bunch of stuff around. Okay, so move files into folders. Okay, because this is just an insight I had this morning that I didn't want everything to be on a flat level. Okay, so project files, then we've got assets, then we've got layouts, then we've got pages, then we've got partials. And in partials, we've got that, and that. Okay, so let's see. There's a few things we need to work on. And I'm going to bring up my old to-do list because I have this to-do list I've been working through over the past week. In between streams. Yeah, this is not relevant anymore. Okay, nice. Welcome back to the stream. I am working on re-architecting things. Okay, so the first thing is I have the JavaScript and the Sass being compiled. That's a new thing. And the dist files are being ignored by by NodeMon, so it's not refreshing on that, so that's cool. I also have inside of Remake, I have this new library called user data, which so I recently decided to give up on Mongo because I want to have a JSON database, like a local file database. And that's for a couple reasons. One, there's no reason not to. Mongo was a bit of overkill because I'm literally just working with like a single JSON data structure as the backend for each user. So why not just use that as just a JSON file, right? We can always implement caching or whatever. That's not like, I don't know, maybe it's super hard, but I don't think it's that hard. But for now, we're just going to be working with files, and we're going to put those all in remake data. And you can see here, we already have this kind of working. So if we look into our main.js file, you can see down here, I have this test set up where I'm creating a user, I'm getting some user data, I'm setting some user data, and then I'm getting the user data again. And if we look at our terminal, we see that we create the user with private data and public data. We get the user with private data and public data, and then after we set the data, we get new private data and public data. So it's all working. This library is working for setting and getting JSON files for the user data. There's one change I wanted to make to this API. So right now when I'm setting user data, I pass in a data object, and then there's a private data and a public data on that data object. But I think instead of that, I want to have, can I use type here? Is type a reserved word? That's not a reserved word. Okay, so let's use type, and type is going to be set to either private or public. I think that makes sense to me. So I'm going to say if type let's see, if type is equal to private, no, I don't know. Let's see. So I'm setting the private data here and the public data here. And yeah, so I think I want to do this. So I want to say, okay, so let's get rid of this. So I'm going to say if type equals private, then I'm going to get the private data promise, set to this, remake data, and I'm going to just set it to data, because I don't think there's going to be a time when I want to set the user data and I want to set some private data and some public data. Because the private data is like the username, the password, all that stuff. And the public data is like their app data. I don't think there's a case where I want to do that. So yeah, so let's just do that, and then we're going to say if type equals, and we can change this later. You know, we can go back to the old way of doing things if it ends up that this isn't the best idea. And then we're going to do promise all, and then return data. And we can actually, we'll return data. Hey S1 Faka, how's it going? And we'll return the type also, just so we know. Okay, so now if we go back to main.js, and now we have to use different set user data. So we're going to do set 1, and then we're going to have a set 2, and we're going to set the data equal to hello, and then we're going to set the data equal to world, and I have no idea how many curly braces we need. Okay, looks like 2. Okay, there we go. So username John, data is there, and then we're going to have a type, and we're going to do private and then public. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, data from set 1 has already been, oh, yep, we want 2 here. Okay, so let's make sure, yep, okay, so it's working. Okay, so we have this user data library. So now the next thing we want to do is firm up the specification for how we're rendering what we're rendering. So actually, before we do this, syntax for layouts. I need to come up with a syntax for layouts. So what does that mean? So in this folder, we have layouts, right? So like default.hbs is an example. And we're going to have, we should get the layout we have from here, from our original app. So go into shared, and then we'll go into the head. So we'll copy this, and then we're going to end the body and end the HTML. So I don't know if we need all of this. Let's just delete this for now. And let's also delete this. And let's just say hello. Okay, so we actually didn't end up taking too much from that. So the idea is that in here, we're going to have an area to render the app. Hey, Sig10, how's it going? Good evening. Where are you coming from? How'd you hear about this stream? What are you up to? What do you like doing? What do you like working on? Is there any questions you have? I know that's a lot. That's very overwhelming. All you said was hello. Maybe I should just say hello. Yeah, it's a lot of questions. Yeah, where are you coming from? I'm curious. So for a layout, we just want an area where we can render the pages into. And, ooh, Iceland. Okay, that's cool. Where did I heard something about Iceland recently. Someone went to visit Iceland. Oh, my cousin. My cousin just went to Iceland. I think. I'm pretty sure. Is there like a Game of Thrones? Was King's Landing in Iceland? Is that a thing? Because I think he went to visit King's Landing. You know, the Game of Thrones set place? Um, I don't know. Okay, so that's pretty cool though, Iceland. I've heard a lot of things about Iceland. How's the economy holding up? I heard it's going through a tough time a few years ago, right? All the banks were kind of way over leveraged, right? Even more than in the United States. I hope that's going better over there. Okay, so we're gonna have this default template. Now the thing about handlebars is it doesn't have support for layouts. So if you search for handlebars layouts, you'll get this npm package from 2016, which is like, I don't know. I guess we can look at that. We're gonna look at this one. We're gonna look at this one. And then if you look at the official documentation and we type in layout, they have a way of doing layouts, right? So you can do this, and then it feels a tiny bit hacky, but it's not like super hacky, but it's a tiny bit hacky. So they say, okay, the normal behavior when attempting to render a partial that is not found is for the implementation to throw an error. If failover is desired instead, partials may be called using the block syntax. So this is a partial, right? And then you can use a hash here, right? Instead of just a caret, or I don't know what you call this, just a greater than symbol. And then inside of that, you can put content, right? And then if the partial isn't found, right? Yeah, if the partial isn't found, then this is inserted inside of this. So they say this block syntax may also be used to pass templates to the partial, which can then be executed by the specially named partial block. So basically, you have this layout template, and you call partial block inside of it, and then you call this layout over the entire template in your other template, and then it's going to render this in here. It seems kind of fine, right? It's kind of what layouts do, but in my opinion, it's not really intuitive enough, and what I would rather have is just a layout here, and then at the top of like a page, for us to just say like layout default, right? And then for the default, for it not even to require this, right? So like to just default to the default, so you don't even have to specify the layout. That we always want a layout, and that we don't want to have to name it. We don't have to like want to have to wrap all of our content in this layout block thing. So if you go to, I don't know, there's a express handlebars thing too. So if we search for express handlebars, we'll get this npm package, and this lets us have layouts. So one of the key things this does, if we search for layouts, it says this view engine adds back the concept of a layout, which was removed in Express 3. It can be configured with the path to the layouts directory. So this is another solution, but we don't really want to have the user do anything on the back end. Hey Satwaya, how's it going? So we're not going to use that either. And so what I think is I'm just going to use a custom implementation, which yeah, is the last word of like everyone, whoever tried to create a framework. I'm doing okay. It's kind of trying to think through stuff and figure stuff out step by step. What are you working on? What are you working on? Okay, so I think what I want is just like some syntax up here to specify the layout that this template's going to use. And by default, it can use the default template if this isn't there. And this can be on the first line. So we have an update on the economy of Iceland. The economy has recovered for now. Quite a few Game of Thrones themes were filled in Iceland, possibly some from King's Landing. Oh, cool. Well, anyways, I think someone I know went to Iceland recently. I think. But it really seems like a cool place to me. That's awesome the economy has recovered. Satwaya says they make an app to discover surroundings. Basically, it generates a loop with monuments nearby. It generates a loop. What do you mean by it generates a loop? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Okay, so I need a syntax for specifying a layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in another templating library. So let's search like popular templating engine. And then let's just grab like the first one. No, just give me... I don't even want JavaScript. I just want like... I guess Rails is a pretty popular one, right? So let's say Rails and then layout. How does Rails specify a layout? So Satwaya says, so he's clarifying, or they are clarifying, generating the loop. So it generates a path from your starting point and adds places around and then goes back to your starting point. Okay, cool. So he says it generates a path from your starting point and adds places around and then goes back to your starting point. Oh, okay, yeah, like a sightseeing app. So it's going to give you a path outward to like see different places and then a path. So, okay, question. Does the path back to your starting point involve additional sightseeing, or are you like maximizing just the outward path? Or are you optimizing the inner path? I think it'd be kind of cool if it was optimizing both, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so this one, where do we have layout? Layout. Structuring layouts, using nested layouts. Okay, structuring layouts. So we got yield, we got a yield keyword. How is there nothing here? How, how do I just make a layout? I think it, layout rendering cheat sheet, sure. Doc type yield, okay, yield, so that's how you specify where things get where things get rendered. Okay, so it's inside of this that you say layout. Okay, so this is pretty close to what we were thinking. For now, it picks monuments and generates a path according to your time, but the algorithm is far from being perfect, like when you say we have to optimize everything you mentioned. Okay, well, that's terrible. You should give up on this project right now. It sounds like you're just gonna be making people's lives worse. I think that's horrible. It's just terrible. Um, no, that, like, dude, that sounds super impressive. And I think it's awesome that you're tackling this problem. That's like a really complicated, hard problem that a lot of people don't even know how to do. Do you know how many times I've taken an Uber and they've taken like the long way around? Like you're dealing with like some pretty complicated stuff here. Um, and yeah, just like either way, like whether you're just optimizing one path or the other path, or just like pointing out some nearby monuments, any of that is pretty cool. That's awesome. I was trying to be facetious earlier. I don't know if I don't know if that came off facetious or just mean. Um, so yeah, I think I should give up on my attempts to be facetious because I end up just coming off as mean. Uh, because what I was trying to say is that like your doubts shouldn't get in the way of learning, and that as long as you're learning, you're getting there, right? And like you're creating something that other people are probably interested in too, or learning how to do and trying to figure it out is, like that's why half of the billion-dollar companies that exist now got started is because people were just trying to experiment or play around with something new. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so it looks like Rails uses this in the controller. So one thing you might want to look into is is games. Pathfinding is like a huge area of research in game engines. So you might be able to find some really cool pathfinding libraries if you look in like game libraries. Um, yeah. I just saw something on Twitter today actually that had something to do with pathfinding. I follow a lot of game creators. It was pretty cool. There were like these four blocks in the air, and you were like firing an arrow at them, but you could mark each box, and then it would fire the arrow through each one, and then come back. That's cool. Yeah, maybe talk to Sigs. Okay, so Rails like uses this in the controller. We'll just use this in the page itself. I think we could use something like this because Handlebars is already using this like double curly brace thing everywhere. Um, or we could just put it at the top, right? We could just have it be like this. And then you could continue with your HTML down here, right? And this would make it clear maybe that it's not a part of normal handlebars. I kind of like that idea. I don't know, it's kind of simple, right? I kind of like it. Okay, yeah, let's use here, let's try wrapping it in curly braces again. Or like that. Or like that. Nice. Connection made. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is fine. Maybe we have an equal sign here. Nah. Let's see. So let's say you have this template here. And we should install some kind of handlebars. Syntax highlighter. So if we save this, open it up again. Okay, so yeah, this just won't be highlighted. But if we do this, ooh, okay, then we do get the highlighting. So that's interesting. Yeah, I guess wrapping in curly braces would be good. We're gonna strip it out anyways, so handlebars isn't gonna try to parse it. Yeah, I like this idea. Okay, so let's go with that. We'll say layout products in curly braces, and then we'll put should we put yield here? Copy the Rails thing, or um, I guess this one uses like that. What is this syntax here? What is that for? I think this is a partial. So we could do this. And we could say yields. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're making up our own syntax here. What about a helper? What does handlebars use for helpers? I think I was just there. Helpers. Helpers. So helpers, full name, author. So let's see. Helpers each. Okay, so it's just like, yeah. So it looks just like this. Okay, so we're kind of creating a helper syntax. That's fine, I guess. And we'll have this for yields. That's fine. Okay, so now we've got to find out a way to render this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to parse, oops, what did I just do? So the first thing we want to do is we want to parse all of our project files and get what we need from them. So what we're going to export from pages, so we're going to go like through the pages directory, and we're going to so for each page we want two things. We want the string okay, sorry, I decided on having routes instead. Okay, so each route is gonna have yeah, this is good actually. Okay, so let's firm up the specification for rendering, but first let's go through this. Okay, so we're going to get the tree structure of project files, only compute, only look at files ending in HBS. The final output is going to be routes followed by partials. The routes are going to be ordered by whether they're at the base path. So is it just like slash or slash about or slash sign up? Nice. Yeah, their new layout is crazy and it kind of sucks. And then each route has a route, blah, 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 and a template string. Okay, so loop through pages. for each page, we want to add 2 routes. One route, we'll say add 1 route to, yeah, we're no longer doing this. Using named template or default. Okay, so we're adding 1 route to the base routes array, and then add 1 route to the dynamic routes array. So base routes, and we can call these username routes because they're always going to be prepended by the username. Okay, so okay, so for each page we're going to add 2 routes, and then we're also going to, for each page we have to get its layout. So it's going to be also for each page get its what do you call it, render string, or what did I call it here, template string. Get its template string, and we're going to say full template string because we want to get the pages, template string, right? So like just this, the whole thing. Oh yeah, that reminds me. So we want to so 1, we need to find its template, named or default. We'll say explicitly named or default. So we're going to find its, layout. I keep saying template instead of layout. So we're going to find its layout. We're going to remove the layout ... line from the page template. Then we're going to insert the page template into its layout. And that should give us the full template string. If anyone has any idea about how to efficiently remove a line from a string in JavaScript and also insert a string into another large string in JavaScript, that would be most helpful. I really don't know how to do that efficiently. I'm going to just use, like, I guess, replace, which I guess is fine. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then for partials, we're going to say loop through partials. And for each partial, we're going to return a couple things. So let's look in get apps info. So I don't think we need the name. We do need the route. We need this. We don't need the app name. We're no longer doing that. We no longer need that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think JavaScript's like not bad with yeah. I'm just thinking like it would be cool if there was like a way of efficiently modifying very large strings. Like if you have like, let's say Don Quixote, right? Not that any of these templates would be the length of Don Quixote, but let's just say, for an example, you have Don Quixote, you have the entire HTML template, filled with all of that data. Like, could you go to like the, I don't know, 400th line and then just replace that line without reading the entire file? Or would you have to load the entire file into memory? You know what I mean? I feel like there must be an efficient way of just being like, find, you know how like when you're looping through an array with like a for loop, and then you can use a break statement once you found what you're looking for. You know, like, so you don't have to loop through 1,000 items. You can just loop through 200 and find the item, and then stop the loop. That's what I'm kind of. Yeah, yeah. I think you can loop through each line, but then I wouldn't know how to just replace that line. So I don't know. I mean, we're just talking about pretty small templates right now. They're HTML templates. They're not going to be longer than like 1,000 lines, and I think Node will be fine with 1,000 lines of you know, code. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So not in this line. Yeah, I think I'll just go with reading the whole file for now because I think I'm prematurely optimizing, to be honest. Okay, so we have the to loop into each line. Yeah. Okay. So loop through the partials. So why do we need backend? Um, so why do we need the name of the partial? Okay. Um, yeah. I'll see. I'll see when I come to it. What's gonna be the easiest? I don't actually know if because I do actually need all the lines in the end, so I think I will actually need to just read the whole file. I was just wondering. Yeah, I know there is a node thing that lets you read each file. Sorry, each line of the file. So if that comes up where I do need that, I will keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay, so for the partials, I think we do need the name because I think we look at the partial name. Okay, so we're gonna need the name, we're gonna need the template string and the starting data. Starting data. Starting data. Yep, okay. So we're gonna need those. So we need name, template string, and starting data. Name, template string, starting data. So loop through partials. Um, how do we get its name? The name, I think, is easy. Yeah, we're just replacing the extension. Um, get name, replace extension, or remove extension, I should say. The template string, I believe, is just going to be the raw file. So if I look here, yeah, we're just reading the raw file. So, and then the starting data is going to be okay, nice. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be able to reuse a lot of what we already have. Okay, so, and then once we have that, we should be able to render all this stuff. Oh, cool. Do, 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 do. So you create a read string, and then you can use online, each line as you... Okay, cool. Huh. That's all trim. Okay, and then she pushes it into an array. Huh. Huh. Whoa, really? I had no idea about this. Node can only hold 1.5 gigabytes. Huh. Yeah, this is what I was gonna wonder. If you could increase... Well, I mean, this wouldn't be the first thing on my mind. I don't know what this means. I know what cat means, but all of this is gibberish to me. But yeah, I wish I knew command line magic like this. This is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Huh. Yeah, my instinct would just be like increase the amount of memory that node has. You know, like I don't want to deal with anything complicated. Just give it more memory. Um, okay, so back to this. Let's start working on this. So the I think I think I'm gonna have a shorter day today. My neck is actually kind of hurting. I slept on it the wrong way, and it's been kind of stiff and sore all day. So I'll stop after I do this. But this is a long task, so I might be here for like another hour. Um, who knows? So the first thing we want to do is go to our main.js file, and we're going to, I guess up here, we're going to import something. So we're going to import like we'll say like get pages and partials, I guess. Should we have it be separate? Like get pages and then get partials? I forget, do we need to... Yeah, every time this is called... Or no, yeah, okay. So it's not every time this is called we run the same thing. Only the first time we call it, but then we give a copy every time you're getting the apps info. So I think um, let's have it be separate. So let's have it say get pages and get partials. And we're going to say from lib slash and we can say like project info. We'll say get project info. Okay, so we'll make a new file here. I'm going to say get project info.js. And then let's just copy our existing solution for getting the apps, just so that we have everything that we might need. Yeah, like a lot of this is good stuff. Okay, so we don't want nunchucks anymore. Okay, so, and we're going to call this get project info. Okay, so Whew, this is going to be hard. I actually have to take a very quick break to use the restroom, and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. Okay, so let's get to work. I'm not going to answer any questions or talk to anyone for the rest of the stream. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm going to try to be super focused. Okay, so we got get pages and get partials. And let's put at the bottom what we're expecting this to give. Thank you, Sullivan. So at the bottom, we're going to say get page info, get project info. So then we're going to have project info. And then we're going to have get pages. So T Software asks, what kind of framework are you coding? Geez, okay. Okay. So I'm coding a framework that should let you create an HTML and CSS page. So just like a basic static website. And then you can add a few data attributes onto it to make it editable and turn it into, yes, definitely a web framework, yes. And turn it into a web application. So it's supposed to make it incredibly simple to create web applications. We have a few example apps that we've already created, but I want to make it easier for people to get started with. So I'm currently re-architecting the back end so that it's so that no one even has to worry about the back end. They can just write front end code and they can have a web framework, including user authentication and all that. I will, yes. I already have not bad documentation, but yeah, it could definitely get a lot better. Yes, definitely. Want to have like a 5 minute quick start, a lot of video tutorials. Um, yeah, definitely documentation is at the top of the list as far as things I need to have. And I already have like some not bad documentation. Like I said, if you go to remaketheweb.com, the place if you want to know more about this is the annotated source code for a simple to-do app is pretty good. And then there's also a quick reference sheet for all of the attributes. And then down here, you can actually see like all of this documentation that goes into detail. A little bit of it is out of date just because I've been working on this framework so much. But yeah, within the next few weeks, one of my top priorities is to get a documentation website out there. And you can actually preview it at site.remakejs.com. It's no longer going to be called Remake.js, it's going to just be called Remake. But yeah, so this is what the documentation site is going to look like. Pretty, isn't it? I like it a lot, actually. Your dream is testable documentation on the CI. So like runnable guides that check the console output. Ooh, that is pretty good. I would be up for implementing something like that. Yeah, I think that's a great kind of best practice, and I actually love it when sites do that too. If you want to stop by when I'm building the site and you want to give your feedback on that or help with it, let me know. Because I'll probably be building out this documentation site in 2 or 3 weeks, or at least that's the plan. Okay, so we got get pages, and this is going to be a function that returns the pages. So we're going to, oh no, sorry. Do we want pages or do we want routes? I think we want routes here. Whew, changing this much at once is a little bit hard sometimes, but that's not that bad. So we're going to say routes here, and we're going to make a copy of it, like that. And then we're going to do the same thing for, oops, get routes. And then we're going to say get partials is going to be like this. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So now that's cached, right? So it's only run once when the app runs. But then every time we want a new copy of that, we're just copying it with JSON parse and JSON stringify. And it's going to give us a new copy of that data. And we need to actually return this. Yep. Okay, so that should be pretty good. Seems good to me. So basically what we're outputting here is project info routes and project info partials. And we're not going to need this sort here anymore. So we want to say routes down here and partials. And at the top, we're going to have two different types of routes. So the partials thing is fine. But we're going to say let base routes equal an empty array. And then we have username routes. I actually kind of like calling these dynamic routes. But we'll call them username routes. I think that's, I don't know. That's fine for now. Okay, so we're also going to get the tree. So the tree is the directory tree inside of project files. And I think I learned this before, that it's relative to the top level of like Remake Framework instead of from the current directory, which is definitely weird, but whatever. And we're going to filter that for now for HBS files and for JSON files. I think that's everything. Yeah, because we don't need the assets. Yep. Okay, and then we'll leave the rest of this stuff here for now, just in case we need it. Okay, so now we're going to do a for each deep on the tree. So we're looping through everything inside of the tree. And let's actually comment all of this stuff out for now. Wait. So, yeah, let's comment that all out. And we'll comment this out. And routes and partials. Okay, so I'm not going to return anything from this for now. And I just want to console log value and value.path. What is, okay, yeah. So let's do that. And then here we're going to do this. And this should run. Okay, so we got our first error. The requested module, get project info, does not provide an export named get routes. Well, that makes sense because we didn't actually export that. So we're going to do export get routes and get partials, save. Okay, boom. So now we're starting to get things. So this is like the underpinning of the entire function that we're building right now, this dir tree thing. So dir tree turns any directory into a JSON structure, and the JSON structure is nested according to how the actual directory folders and files are nested. So it's a pretty cool thing. Let's do this so that we can get a better idea of what's going on. So we're going to say value and then path here, and we're going to do value.path. Let's do path first. Okay. So now if we look at the top of this, we've got path project files, right? And then the value is going to give us the path, the name of the directory, and then all of the children. And so we've got all these children with their own paths and their own names. And then we've got another path and another value. I don't know why these paths are undefined. That's a little weird. I actually don't really understand that. But whatever. I really don't understand that. Value project files. Whatever. I'm not going to worry about that for now. I've checked over this library before, and it's really good, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so we've got this path, then we've got children, which is an array inside of an array, and then there's an object all the way at as the child. Then we've got pages. Okay, cool. So we're looping through all this. Now the thing I really want to know is, so if we have like login.hbs, so let's search for that one. So what is the path or the parent for this, right? So the path is project files / pages. So that's how we're going to know it's a page, is if the path is like that, right? Okay, so the first thing I want to do, I guess, is let's get the template path up here, and then we're going to say if extension value is, and we're going to say HBS, because we're switching our templating language from nunchucks to handlebars, because handlebars is more popular. And then we've decided we don't need the name for the page, but we do need it for partials, so we'll ignore it for now because we're going to handle pages first. And the template string. So I think that's fine. I think yeah, we're going to do underscore template string because it's not the full template string for pages, even though it is the full template string for partials. And we're going to read the file, and we're going to do a read file sync because we're in a for each here, and when it comes to doing for eaches over directories and stuff, I don't really know how to do asynchronous code. It's like I've tried to do it before, it's a little complicated. So for right now, we're just going to do a synchronous read. and we're going to read at dir name, and then we're going to go up a level, and then we're going to get the template path. So template path is the value path. So let's look at this. So if we find login.hbs, right? So we have this name of login.hbs, we have the extension. So this is one that we're going to match on right here, right? Because we're going to have the extension of HBS. And we've got the template, I don't know why the template path is out here. It could just as easily be inside of here, I think. So if we're on a template file, this is the path. So project files, pages, login.hbs. So that is actually, let's see, up a level. It's actually up 2 levels now. So we'll do up 2 levels and then template path. So we go in project files. Okay, great. So we're just going to read the file contents. So we're just going to have the contents of the login HBS file right here as the template string. And we're going to just prepend it with an underscore to let us know that that's not something we want to export usually, at least for pages. For the app name, we don't need to do anything because we're getting rid of app names for now. Just for now, we're going to add them in later. And then, let's see. Then we're going to see if we're working with a page. So we're going to say if template path includes, and we're going to say pages. So this will give us if it's inside of the pages directory, but is there another possibility? So there is another possibility. There's a possibility that a user went in here, and even though they know the pages directory is supposed to be the directory for pages, they might create another directory here called like pages whatever, right? I don't know why they created it, but they did. Or yeah, right? So they created this other directory. So now if they put some kind of file in here, it's going to be rendered as a page, even though that's maybe not what they meant. So I guess the question is, do we filter out these pages or not? I feel like it's not really a big deal right now. If they name it pages whatever, or even pages whatever like that, and it renders as a page, am I heartbroken? I'm not really heartbroken at that point. I think it's okay. We could filter it out pretty easily though. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Okay, so we're going to say anything that has this in its path is a page. Okay, that makes sense to me. And then what are we going to do with it? So we want to get its route, right? So this is something that's kind of fun because the route is going to be based on the name of the template, but it's going to calculate a bunch of different things for that. This is one of my favorite things about Remake right now is, so if you have like a todos.hbs file, so let's say the file we're dealing with right now is todos.hbs, and the so we're here. So yeah, let's just copy this. So let's say this is what we're working with. So we've got the path here, and we've got the name here. And is there anything else? No. Yeah, where is it going to render? So it's going to render, where will it render? So the path that it'll render at is based on the name of the template. So we're going to strip off this HBS, and we're going to just have it render at /login. That makes sense, right? To just have it, it's like an HTML file or something. It's just going to render if you go to that that directory. That's fine. But you know where else it's going to render? It's going to render here. So it's going to render at /username slash login slash ID. So you might be curious, like, why would you ever want this, right? Well, for the login page, you wouldn't really want it. What you would really want it for is something like a to-dos page, right? So if you have a list of your to-dos, you want to be able to access each of those to-dos at a certain ID, optionally, which is why we have this question mark. So this last part of the route, this ID part, isn't necessary. It's totally optional because it has the question mark at the end. And then this username part that prepends it is going to tell you which username's data you're looking at in order to bring up these to-dos, right? So what is slash to-dos going to render in this case? Absolutely nothing. It's just an alternate route that will try to render this page, but it's not going to have any data. So as the application architect, we're not going to build anything at that route. We're not going to link to it. We're not going to link to that route. But if we wanted to make a static page there, we could. And we could say in our page, we could say, if the user is not logged in, you know, have a link to the sign up page or to the login page, right? So that's fine. We could actually put something there if we wanted to. But the key place where we're going to want to send the user is either to slash someone's username slash to-dos, or slash someone's username slash to-dos slash an ID, which is going to bring up a to-do ID. And then for static pages, like say we're working with a login page, most likely we're going to just want them to render for this page. And if you go to slash username slash login, we can just render nothing, right? We can have it be a 404 or something like that. I don't know exactly, but it will render at that route. We're just not going to link to it, right? So it just gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of all you have to do is create this simple, very, very, very simple file called login.hbs, put anything you want in there, and it's going to render when you go to slash login. It's going to render when you go to slash any username slash login, or when you go to slash username slash login slash ID. So it's pretty nice, pretty flexible. Okay, so let's see. Oh, we actually are going to need the name here for the page. I thought we weren't going to need it, but we are going to need it. Okay, so the reason we need it is to compute the path. Oh, I shouldn't have. What was I just doing? I shouldn't have gotten rid of this because this is good documentation for us. Okay, so we'll call this file name too. Our file name without extension. I think file name is fine. File name. Okay, so in order to get the route, so there's two different kinds of routes like I was just talking about. We have username routes and we have base routes. So the first thing we want to do actually is get the template string, right? So this is going to be a little bit hard because what do we want to do for this? We want to get we want to find the layout for the page, and then we want to remove the layout call from the page template, and then we want to insert the page into its layout. So let's pretend like we did all that, right? So let's just say let page layout, and we'll say like full page layout, I guess. Whatever, we'll just say page layout. So we'll do, for right now we'll just say undefined. And we'll put a little to do after that. You just came back from raving and you lost 5 kilograms. Who knew it was so healthy? Well, did you eat in that time for second GM? Because if you didn't eat, I'm not sure if it was healthy. But yeah, no, raving, like totally. You're going to be jumping up and down, like partying all over the place. Like it's totally healthy. Dancing is like the healthiest thing you can do. I think it's healthier than walking. There was a study that came out that said walkers live the longest, like they live longer than people who run. I think dancers live even longer than walkers. That's good to hear, Forsaken, that you, wow, you burnt 9,000 calories according to your meter. You must be quite the dancer, to be honest. That's awesome. Congratulations, dude, that's awesome. Okay, So we're going to pretend like we got the page. Oh, what do we want? We're going to pretend like we got the template string. Well, yeah, I'm gay, of course. I am quite the dancer. Okay, nice. Um, that is awesome. Yeah, my Discord is up. Do you have a link to it? You didn't get the invite. Okay, I'll send the invite to you. Okay. Invite, copy. Oh yeah, putting the link on my Twitch. That's a good idea. Okay, so now I get to briefly see myself stream and be completely embarrassed because I hate watching myself stream. Uh, no. Okay. So, yeah, wow. Oh man, that guy looks like a bum. What the heck? Okay, so here we go. Stream description, edit panels, Discord. What do you think? Right here or at the top? Oh, I already had a link to the Discord. Wait, why is it a different one? Does it generate a new one every time? Oh, it wasn't working for you. Maybe it generates a new one every time. Wait, which one did I just copy? Okay, there we go. Oh, I might have a timer on it. What? Oh, set this link to never expire. Ooh. Okay. Max number of uses. No limit. Okay. So, wait, what? Okay. Okay. I am going to paste the never expire link now, and then I'm going to add it to here. Thank you for letting us know, because yeah, sometimes I am the worst, and I don't realize like a simple checkbox will make a difference. Okay, cool. So that's done. Let's close that. Okay, so let's go back to coding. So we'll pretend like we did the template string thing, and then what we want to do is first add to the base routes. So we're going to do a push here, and we want to push the route in here. So we'll say route, and then what's the other thing? We want the template string. So that's the thing we're pretending to do. And then we also want the username route. So let's see, username routes, push, and then route and template string. Okay, so we'll say base route and username route, and then how are we going to compute these things, right? Well, we have a good idea from this little documentation thing. So right here we're going to say base route, and then we're going to just have it be equal to, is it the name? How did I do it before? So here, huh? Simple route, name. Oh, I had name equals home. That is definitely something I want to keep. Shoot. Oh my god. Okay, so let's see. So, boom. Let's grab these. Okay. So for the base route, we're going to say name equals home. Then we're going, if it is equal to home, we're going to render here. Otherwise, we're going to render at slash. Let's make it as template string. So we're going to do slash, then $, and then name. I think that's all we want. I don't think we want this ID thing anymore for the base routes. For the dynamic username routes, we do want it. Okay, so we'll say base route for that, and then we're going to say username route, and we're going to say same thing, I guess. So we're going to say name is home, then we're going to say it renders at this. So I think that's right. Yeah, yep, that's definitely right. And then we're gonna have else if it's not home, it's gonna render at username and then slash the name of the page. That works, I think. And then slash colon ID question mark. Okay, I think that should work, right? Because this, oops, because this one should give us like slash about, and then this one, or we'll say to-dos. We'll use to-dos as an example because it's useful in both cases. So we're going to say slash like John slash, or wait, yeah, slash John slash to-dos slash 123. Okay, cool. And the ID is going to be optional like we said. Okay, so this page will render at both of those. And the reason we're splitting these up into base routes and username routes is the base routes have to come first because this the username routes will match anything. They'll match anything to start, right? Because they have this parameter to start their route. So if you put those before the other routes, the dynamic routes are always going to match before the base routes, and that's not good because the base routes will never render them ever. Even it doesn't matter what they're named; they just never will render. Okay, so so we got the base route and the username route. We're adding both of those, so we've got all this, so we're good. Now the next thing is to be able to compute the template string. So there's a couple things with this that we need to do right here. Okay, so let's add this up here. We'll comment it out, push it in, and put this. I just want to keep this stuff around just so I kind of remember, I don't know, what I'm maybe working with, right? Okay, so the first thing we want to do is find its layout. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit hard. So we decided on this syntax at the top of the page, and this sucks. This sucks. So we're going to use a regex, okay? So let's look at debugX. I think we use a regex, right? Yeah. Okay, and we're going to say it has to be the first line. Is that what we're going to say? I guess we can search through the whole thing. Or should we say it just has to be at the beginning of the line? I don't even know. Are there different new line characters for different operating systems? Do you guys know? I think there is, right? Different new line formats. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, we're just going to search for it on the first, it has to be at the very beginning, okay? I don't know. I really don't know. Search the whole thing? Sure. Okay, fine. We're beginner friendly. You can search we can search the whole thing. Okay, so we're gonna see if we match. We want to match this part right here. So we're gonna do so slash curly brace slash curly brace, and then we're gonna say or wait. Yeah. Okay, so then we're gonna say like optional space plus, so it's gonna be one or more spaces, and then layout, and then optional space plus, and then we're gonna have either kind of quote. So let's wrap this, and we'll do that. Now, regex escape. Maybe they tell us down here in the cheat sheet what we need to escape. Nope. Okay. Regex escape JS. Okay. So all of these should be escaped. So no quotes. We don't need to escape single quotes or double quotes. So we're going to say either double quote or single quote. And we're not going to say plus there, right? And then we're going to capture. So we're going to do like this. And then I guess a word character. And then end parentheses, and we're going to do plus on the word characters. And then we're going to do, again, double quote or single quote, and then space plus. Now, so the space character slash s will match any white space character. I don't know. That's new lines too, but I don't care. It doesn't have to be that strict, right? Okay, so we're going to say slash space plus, and then we're going to do curly brace, curly brace, but we have to escape these curly braces. It does not match. Oh, wait, I put this space thing inside of the quotes. Okay, awesome. So we match products using this. Okay, so now, so if I copy this into, so let's set like A equals to this template, and I do A match, and I pass in this amazing regular expression which will never fail us ever. I'm going to get products as the match. Boom. And now if I do A replace with this regular expression and I do an empty string, it's going to return it without that. Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, sorry. That laugh was, I don't know where that laugh came from. That was a pretty bad laugh. Okay, so we're going to say let layout, we're going to say layout regex equals this. Okay, so layout regex. Okay, so we've got the, let's see. We need the, so to start out with, we need the page template string. Oh my god, why is this so hard? Okay, so I think I already have this somewhere. Template string, how do I get it? Read file sync. Okay, wait, didn't I already do that somewhere? Oh, I did. That's right here. That's right here. Why didn't you guys tell me? Okay, so we're gonna say, so what are we gonna call this? So this is template string, and then with the layout removed. So let's just say, Oh yeah, so we should match it first. So we're going to say layout name is equal to template string match, and then we're going to do the layout regex. Now, how am I going to, because if, okay, so like the problem with regex is if it doesn't match, right? So like let's say I put this in there, it just returns null, right? So I'm going to say, I guess I have to say layout name match, and then I'll say let layout name equal layout name match question mark. And then if we have it, I'm going to do 1, right? And then else, I'm going to go to default. Okay, so now we've got the layout name. Now we're going to replace the template string. So we're going to say template string cleaned. I don't know. Cleaned, that's fine, whatever. We're going to do template string replace, and we're going to do layout regex, and we're actually going to rename this layout regex to layout name regex to be a little bit clearer. And we're going to replace that with an empty string. So now we got the template string cleaned. Okay, so now we need to, so now we've done this, and now we need to insert the page template into its layout. But all we have is the layout name. So we need to get the layout template string, and we're going to have that equal to fs read file sync, and we're going to do dir name. We're going to go up 2 levels, and then we're going to go into project files / layouts. And then we're going to do plus the layout name plus, yeah, let's actually make this a template string. Okay, so we'll do $ layout name, and then we're going to do .hbs. Okay, because the layout, we're going to just assume is at the top level of the layouts folder. I don't know, not the best thing to assume, but whatever. We're going to assume it for now. People can run into issues if they put it at a deeper level, and then they can submit a bug report, and then we can fix it. But for now, this is fine. So layout name.hbs, and it has to be named exactly. We're not going to like lowercase it for them or change the case for them. Okay, and we're pretty sure we've got the layout name here. Hey to Mesa1, how's it going? And we got the layout name, layout string cleaned. Yep, and then layout template string is going to be that. Okay, so now we've got to insert it. So now we're going to do this part. I am automatically rendering pages. I am working on automatically rendering pages using a template they specify, using a custom implementation because Handlebars doesn't support templates natively, or at least not to my liking. And then we're rendering these pages at some like dynamic routes that is based on the name of the template file. Yeah, I just gave you the answer I'd like give my boss if he asks like, hey, what are you up to? But maybe that was a little too complicated for like just a casual, what you working on? But yeah, okay, so now we need to insert the page into the template, and the syntax we decided on was this. So now we need to match this. So let's paste this in here and Paste that there. So now we need to match this. So we're going to escape these and escape these. And, oh, do we even need to escape those? So you only need to, oh no, you do need to escape those. Okay, cool. Well, if you have any questions, let me know. This framework is actually made for beginners. The part that I'm doing right now isn't really, but I'm trying to make it easier for beginners to get started with this framework. That's what I'm working on right now. So if you have any questions about this framework or anything we're doing, just let me know. The backend is based on Node, but the idea is that even though it's a full stack framework, as a user, you're only going to have to touch the front end. You don't have to worry about the back end at all. That's the idea for it, at least. Nice. Okay, so now we've got the regex. I think I just wrote a regex for the yield command. So what we're going to do is just replace that yield command. So we're going to say yield command regex, and we're going to set that equal to this. So this just makes it so that we have 2 curly braces to start and 2 curly braces to end. And we have a greater than sign, and then as many spaces as we want, and then yield, and then as many spaces as we want. So we're going to replace this in the layout template string with the template string cleaned. So we're going to say, oops, yield command regex. So we're replacing this yield command inside of our template with the contents of this template after stripping out this layout thing here. Pretty cool. I've never built a templating engine before, but I can imagine it gets pretty complicated. We're kind of only touching on the basics right now. Okay, so we're going to add these lines of documentation to each of these, because I think they're pretty nice actually. And then we're going to split these up a little bit. Create the base routes. These need to render before the dynamic username routes. Okay, and then create the username, the dynamic username routes. Okay, cool. So now if everything went well, which we haven't tested any of this code yet, but if everything went well, we should have the file name, which is going to be, we can put like EG here. So we're going to say to-dos dot, we'll just say to-dos, right? Because it's going to strip out the extension. And then we're going to say template path, which is going to be, for example, I guess we could do this here. So let's copy this here, because this is more exact. So this is the actual template path, and then we're going to insert this here. Okay, so this is going to be, for example, project files, pages, and then like to-dos.hps. And then we're going to render this. So the template string is going to be like this. and then we'll just do dot dot dot. I don't know if this is actually helpful. I'll just delete that actually. Okay, so if the template path includes pages, so we'll say like check if we're in the pages directory. Find the pages, the current pages layout, explicitly either explicitly named or the default layout. So we're going to try to match it using our regex on the template string that we got up here. And then if we found something, if it's not null, we're going to get the match of the name. Otherwise, we're going to just use defaults. Then we're going to remove the we'll say like special like layout command from the page template. Insert the page template. Okay, so this one we're cleaning it. We're replacing the layout name regex with nothing, and then we're getting the layout template string. So that should be in the next section, and we're doing that by reading project files layouts layout name.hbs. Then we're gonna get the template string by inserting the page template, which we're doing by getting the template string cleaned and replacing the yield command with that. And boom, now we've got the template string, which can go into here. Let's actually put these together. I like them better together. But I had the same thought just a few years ago. It really doesn't take that long if you just play around with things. Like honestly, if you just kind of understand the basics of the language, you're gonna get a lot better at something you just practice like every day for like a month or two. Like anyone who knows the basics of programming could learn this, I think. And it's not like I'm an expert, you know, like I'm not even an expert on what I'm doing. Like I've just kind of learned this over the past month or two myself. So don't be overwhelmed. It's like a snowball, you know. It like builds up gradually, but then it gets a lot easier. Um, yeah, I don't know if that was reassuring, but I'm trying. I think a lot of the times things in my early days like seemed way beyond my grasp, but then I just kind of learned to just dive in head first. And then you know, I failed and failed and failed. Even now, you know, when I learn new things, I feel like a failure, you know, for like a couple weeks. And then all of a sudden things start to click together and work. And once you get to the point where you can just make something work, even if it's dirty, even if you don't like how you coded it, then the understanding starts to solidify, and that makes everything a lot easier. Okay, so then we're going to push the base route in there and the username route in there for each page template. And like you can watch this. Like as soon as I save this, it's not going to work. I bet. Or I shouldn't say that because sometimes it does work, and then I might make someone feel bad if it. But a lot of the time it doesn't work. Okay, so let's see what we get here. Okay, so the thing we want to do at the end. So we have these base routes and the username routes, and we want to concat them. So let's look up JS concat. See, like concat is like a really simple thing, and I don't even know. I have to like look it up. Sin dev I love pi. How's it going? So we're going to merge two arrays. This method does not change the existing arrays, but instead returns a new array. Okay, so let's not even use it then, right? Because so here we're going to say let routes. No, we're merging arrays. So we're going to do dot dot dot, and then we're going to do base routes and username routes. Base routes, username routes. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, my number one piece of advice is like build something that works. That's going to give you more validation and more motivation to keep going than anything else. If like you can build this super simple calculator or like a super simple blog or something like that, it's gonna click. You're gonna be like, I did this, I can do this again, I understand how the pieces fit together. That's gonna be better than any tutorial or any book that you ever read, just building stuff that works. So I mean, look at me, like I'm like, right now I don't know exactly how this stuff works, so I'm just playing around with it. Um, so if I want to set this equal to these two merged arrays, I'm pretty sure the syntax is like this, but I'm not sure, so I'm just going to try it, and then boom, yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. So, and like I've done this before a few times, so I should actually know. Okay, so we're going to return routes there, and then get project info. So let's actually comment this stuff out because we don't need it right now. And then right here, let's console log get routes and get partials. Did we export this? Get partials, project info.partials. Okay, so we do need to return something here. Okay, cool. That's just an empty array for now. Okay, so app crashed. Sin dev I love pi says I'm working on an HTML5 ECMAScript subtitle renderer for the most complex subtitle format in the world. Wow, that sounds really cool. So are you using like the native video element? Okay, so here, no such file or directory. Okay, so we're running into an error with one of our with one of these read file sync things, I think. Hello and good evening, Mighty Core. How's it going? It's been a while. Okay, so layout. So it's looking for this layouts called products. How's it going, Mighty Core? What are you working on these days? So Sin Dev I Love Pi says I'm using Canvas and then overlaying that over the video. That's awesome. That's really cool. Is Canvas pretty performant for rendering a video? I would imagine it might. I don't know. Is that like a? Does that work okay? I would imagine the native video element would be a lot better for that, but that'd be pretty cool if the Canvas element could handle it okay. And then how are you doing? How are you handling the audio? So Mighty Core says, pretty busy, how's it going? It's going pretty good. I'm re-architecting the framework so that it's easier to get started with. Okay, got it. You're rendering subtitles, not the video. Okay. So you're overlaying the canvas element on top of the video or near the video. That's cool. That's awesome. That sounds like a really complex, really difficult project. I hope you have like a community or some people that are cheering you on, because that can be pretty overwhelming to take on something like that all on your own. But yeah, Mighty Core. So I'm re-architecting the full stack framework for Remake. Oh, no community. That's kind of sad. Well, we'll cheer you on over here. Uh, how about we cheer on Send Send of I Love Pie. How do I? Is that how I do it? Nice. You can do it. We believe in you. You can stop by whenever you need, you know, a little motivation or cheer on. Yeah, send us a demo. Do you have a like a live demo or is it a video? Okay, so I changed it to default, but now it's saying name is not defined in get projects info line 44. So we'll go to line 44. Oh yeah, name is not defined. That makes sense because we changed it to file name. So we're going to do file name, file name, file name, file name. Okay. And boom, nice, it's working now. We'll see that in a second. Okay, so this is on an EC2 instance on AWS. And this is a video player. Imagine I have to click play. Okay, cool. We have the volume control. Okay, so there's just a video player that refresh? Okay. Will it work now? Okay. Can I fast forward it? When do they talk? Well, but why would there be subtitles? There's no one talking. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm blocking. No, I'm not even blocking anything. You wanted me to scroll down? Scroll down where? Okay, so Chrome. Up to date, 75. Oh no, I'm not up to date. Nearly up to date. Okay, so let's see. So I'm rendering stuff. Let's see what it's rendering. So for the page of login, base route login, we have hello, and then we have I love handlebars, me too. Then for all the rest, oh wait, what is slash root? Oh yeah, I decided to rename home to root. What do you guys think? If there's like a page that should render at the base root, right? So like say you go to like example.org, like the page that renders here, right, is just rendering at slash. What should that page name be called? Should it be called home or root? What would you expect? Can you vote on that real quick? I will check Firefox too. Index. Okay, that makes sense. Is it supposed to be doing something right now? Like saying something? But like, where are the subtitles supposed to be? Are they supposed to be along the bottom? Are they describing what's happening? Okay, index. So instead of this, index? I guess index works. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry it's not working. Yeah, I guess index is a good one. Okay, so instead of home, we're going to replace that with index. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's save that. Okay. So now we've got base route slash. See you, Tim. Have a good night. Sleep well. Thank you for saying good luck. I don't know if it's to SynDev or to me or to both, but good luck with your projects too, and have fun learning. And stop by anytime. Huh. Nice. Oh, I might. No, I'm not leaving yet. I'm probably close. I might have some features disabled actually. Um, Chrome flags. I forget how to access it sometimes. There's a lot of them. So draft extensions are disabled. I think Flash? I don't know, I turned something off. Hardware accelerated video decode. Oh, I thought I turned this off. No, I don't know. Maybe... I don't know, I would screenshot this for you or something, but I can't. There's like a screenshot tool in isn't there? In Chrome somewhere? Laptop. Okay. Bum 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 bum. Hopefully I'm not just like giving you like some information you could use to hack me. You're not a hacker, right? There you go. Those are all of the flags that I have on or off. Actually, I don't know if it's all of them. It might not have screenshotted the whole page. Oh well. I don't know if that's it. I guess you could... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any canvas ones, are there? Accelerated 2D canvas, I have that enabled. Enable pixel canvas recording, I have that as defaults. That's all the canvas ones. I don't know, there could be like something in settings that I have disabled or something, but I haven't run into any problems with anything, or any games or anything. Okay, so let's go back to the code. So we have the base route, we're rendering that. Let's create, actually, home page. So this, we'll say login page, sign up page, to-do list page. It's a pretty old one. There you go. Mac OS Mojave version 10.14.5. It's from 2015, a MacBook Pro from 2015. Okay. Now I'm going to just make sure it works with different layouts, right? So I'm going to do other HBS. And we'll say other up here. And then for the to-do list, I'm going to use our special syntax. And we're going to say other. Okay, so I'm going to reset that. Okay, so let's see, base route, we render hello, we render body, and then new line, and then new line? Really? That shouldn't happen. Right, because we have... Oh, we didn't save this. Okay, let's make sure we save that. Okay, great. So now we've got home page, we've got login page, we've got sign up page, we've got to-do list page. Then we've got /username going to the home page, /username /login /ID question mark going to the login page, sign up, and to-do list. Nice. It works. I think. Or wait, what a username route. Why did I put username route for that? Oh, okay, so I just need to say route and route. Okay, cool. I think this is as far as I get for now. I think I am actually going to head out, Salvin and everyone. I will be back on tomorrow around noon, and I'll stream for a few hours. My neck is like, I don't know, not killing me today, but it's pretty bad. So I think tomorrow will be a little bit longer of a day because, I'll have hopefully recovered a little bit more by then. But I had a lot of fun. Uh, before I go, let me do one more test. Hybrid ass? Hybrid ass renderer. So I'm gonna copy this URL, and then I'm going to, as the last thing, I'm gonna go to my cross-browser testing, and I'm gonna open up a Mac in a browser stack and test it for you. Okay, so we've got Mac, and then we're going to go to 76 Chrome. I'll turn back on the scene. So this is on a different computer in the cloud. I'm going to paste this in there and click play. And it's not going to have sound, I think. I don't think this supports sound. Is something supposed to be popping up at this point right here? Or is it only later? It's just funny that it's called hybrid ass. Okay, so this isn't working here. Let's see. So I'll switch to Windows, then I'll switch to Chrome. And I'll paste it in. Let's see. I want to see it working. And we'll play it. Okay, nice. It's working. And the sound works too, actually. Okay, so let's switch to Mac, and let's switch to Safari. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it might not even be playing the video. Okay, so let's switch to Mac and Firefox. I know I just tested this on Firefox, but maybe it'll work differently with like the latest or something. I don't know. It might just be a Mac issue, you might be right. But that's weird. Very rarely do you see that. Do you see like a Mac versus PC issue on a web thing, you know? Like that's very weird. Oh wait. I didn't fast forward the last time, so let's keep it a fair test. So this on a Mac on the latest Firefox. And again, I think it's not working. Yeah. Right? Something should come up by now. So let's go to just a test, give you like a thorough test. Let's go to El Capitan. So this was a couple versions ago. and we're looking at Chrome 76 on El Capitan. See if anything broke in between those. Yep, it works. So it's not a Mac problem, it's like a Mac combined with the latest Chrome, right? Because now we're on El Capitan, Chrome 76. If we go to High Sierra, let's see what that does. Because it might be a difference between High Sierra and the latest one, Mojave or whatever. I think it's not working here either, right? Yeah, it's not working on High Sierra either. We'll see Sierra. And this will tell us where it broke exactly, on which version of Mac. Yeah, it's broken here too, right? So yeah, between El Capitan and Sierra, there was a change. Yep. Okay. Well, I hope that was helpful. Yep. Sierra is when it broke, so that should give you some more information. Okay. I will see you guys later. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us, and I will be on tomorrow around noon for some more coding. Have a good evening to you guys too. Bye.